This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Monday, the 3rd day of March in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Tonight, the Guyana government continues to be in discussions with the international community about the threats and aggression by the Venezuelan military against various oil production vessels operating in Guyana's waters. On Saturday morning, a Venezuelan military ship was spotted in Guyana's waters traversing close to the various vessels and informing those vessels that they were operating in what the Venezuelans considered to be a disputed area. In a national address on Saturday morning, President Irfan Ali said the development in Guyana's maritime territory is serious. The vessel that came into Guyana's waters has been identified as a Venezuelan Coast Guard vessel.
Based on visible markings, the patrol vessel was identified as ABF Wakeri PO-11 IMO 4695542, a Venezuelan Coast Guard vessel. Our assets and FPSO Prosperity are operating lawfully within Guyana's exclusive economic zone. The patrol vessel transmitted a radio message declaring that the FPSO was operating in what it termed disputed international waters before continuing its course in a southwesterly direction toward other FPSOs.
The incident rattled workers aboard the various vessels. There are hundreds of Guyanese and other workers on the various vessels involved in oil production offshore Guyana. At one stage, the captain of the Venezuelan naval ship could be heard questioning those in the various vessels.
What is the IMO number? Don't you have an IMO number, over?
My IMO number is 9175080.
What is the call sign, over?
Call sign is Charlie 6 Bravo Foxtrot 5.
What is the flag of the ship, over?
We are Bahamas.
What is the port of registry, over?
Port of registry is Nassau.
Please tell me what is the name of the master and nationality, over?
Question received, no comments from our side.
How many people do you have on board, over?
Question received, no comments from our side.
What kind of ship are your ship, over?
We are FPSO.
Guyana has since started increased monitoring of the area in the Stabroek block where the incursion occurred, and the Guyana Coast Guard has been dispatching additional teams to the area. This is the second time in as many weeks that Guyana has had to inform the international community of incidents involving Venezuela. Week before the last, 6 Guyanese soldiers conducting patrol duties in Guyana's Cayuni River were shot by persons from the Venezuelan side of the border. It is suspected the assailants were members of a criminal gang that operates in Venezuela. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Good catch! Yes! is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Citizens, please be reminded that the Ministry of Housing and Water does not sell land or housing units through any third-party arrangements or accept payments through any mobile money platforms. All our allocations are done at our Brickdam Georgetown main office, any of our regional offices, or at any scheduled Dream Realized event. A message from the Ministry of Housing and Water, Central Housing and Planning Authority.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
Welcome back. In wake of Venezuela's latest acts of aggression against Guyana, the political opposition in Guyana is rallying alongside the government, demanding that Guyana's territorial integrity be respected. President Irfan Ali met and held discussions with opposition leader Aubrey Norton and an opposition team on Saturday. In a statement, the Alliance for Change condemned Venezuela's incursion into Guyana's territorial waters, describing it as a barefaced show of force. The AFC said there is absolutely no doubt that the area where the Liza offshore well and the supporting vessels and infrastructure lie are well within Guyana's territorial waters and the exclusive economic zone. The AFC said the lawless and reckless behavior of Venezuela must be called out for what it is and will be confronted, adding that it stands in solidarity with the government and the armed forces of Guyana. At a press conference today, the Working People's Alliance added its voice to the national condemnation of Venezuela, stating that Venezuela is not only testing Guyana's resolve that the current borders with its neighbors are legal and legitimate, but also the commitment of the country's allies, especially the US. The WPA said the government needs to be tougher with Venezuela.
Which must concern all countries. Our government appears more intent on fighting wars with its domestic adversaries rather than mobilizing the national response to this clear and present danger. While the government is correct in moving to galvanize regional and international opinion on our side, one does not get the impression that there is a sense of urgency or an overall strategy.
WPA co-leader Dr. David Hines. He also said while external support is imperative to stave off the Venezuelan juggernaut, a national and domestic strategy is equally important.
We repeat our call for the setting up of a broad-based, multi-party border cabinet comprising representatives of all parliamentary parties, key civil society groups, and professionals and experts in security, international affairs, and related areas. Such a cabinet should be charged with continuous monitoring of the situation and making periodic recommendations to the government as this.
He also called on the government to begin a recruitment drive to expand the size of the Guyana Defense Force and to beef up the People's Militia as a supplement to the GDF. In its statement, a new and united Guyana ANAG said it remains steadfast in its commitment to the government and people of Guyana and unequivocally supports Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The opposition party said it stands in solidarity with the Guianan government in its pursuit of a peaceful resolution to this matter through the legitimate legal avenues. And tonight there continues to be growing international condemnation over Saturday's incursion by the Venezuelan Coast Guard in Guyana's waters near the drill ships and the oil production vessels operating within Guyana. A Venezuelan Coast Guard boat spent several hours in Guyana's waters sailing between the various oil vessels and questioning their captains, while falsely telling them that they were operating in Venezuelan waters. In a statement, the U.S. government, through its Bureau of Western Hemisphere Affairs, stated that Venezuelan naval vessels threatening ExxonMobil's floating production, storage, and offloading unit is unacceptable and a clear violation of Guyana's internationally recognized maritime territory. The U.S. government said further provocation will result in consequences for the Maduro regime in Venezuela, making clear that the U.S. reaffirms its support for Guyana's territorial integrity and the 1899 arbitral award. ExxonMobil, which operates in Guyana's waters, is a U.S. company. Meanwhile, the Caribbean community CARICOM in its statement said all such acts of aggression and provocation are contrary to international law and the 2023 Argyle Declaration, which was reached between the presidents of Guyana and Venezuela in St. Vincent. CARICOM said Venezuela's provocation on Saturday runs counter to the agreed commitment of CARICOM and the community of Latin American and Caribbean states to ensure the Caribbean region remains a zone of peace, adding that it is critical that there be a peaceful resolution of the border controversy, as is expected under the International Court of Justice, which already has conduct over the controversy. CARICOM called on Venezuela to refrain from engaging with the oil-producing platforms and remove from Guyana's waters. Meanwhile, the Organization of American States was the first international organization to condemn the Venezuelan government on Saturday over the actions of its military. The OAS said Venezuela's intimidation constitutes a clear violation of international law, undermines regional stability, and threatens the principles of peaceful coexistence between nations. The OAS reiterated its support for Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity. It said the Venezuelan regime must immediately cease all aggressive maneuvers that could escalate tensions in the region. The General Secretariat of the OAS also urged the Venezuelan regime to adhere to respecting the ongoing international legal process, including the adjudication of the territorial dispute before the International Court of Justice, noting that any attempt to use coercion or force to alter established borders is unacceptable and contrary to the fundamental principles of the OAS Charter and international law in general. On Sunday, the British Foreign Minister David Lammy said Venezuela violated Guyana's maritime territory in a provocative act. He said the UK is steadfast in its support for Guyana's internationally recognized territorial integrity and urges Venezuela to refrain from such actions. And the Commonwealth Secretariat also condemned the action of Venezuela. The Commonwealth said a recent action by Venezuela runs counter to the spirit of the joint declaration of Argyle for dialogue and peace between Guyana and Venezuela. The Secretary General of the Commonwealth encouraged Venezuela to respect international law and to adhere to unanimous order on provisional measures of the International Court of Justice. The Secretary General pointed to the leader's statement and Samoa communique of the recently held Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa. And the Secretary General also reiterated the President of Guyana's request that Guyana's sovereignty and territorial integrity be respected and honored.
than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Ready to up your game? Ready to up your game? Win big with over 60 epic prizes. A brand new PS5, Nintendo Switch, iPhone 16 Pro Max, Apple smartwatch, and the hottest earbuds from Apple and Samsung. Plus, we are giving away thousands in phone credit and a whole year supply of Buster or Turbo Energy drink. Here's how. Buy any Buster or Turbo Energy drink, find the code starting with BB and enter online or on WhatsApp. Visit us on Facebook or Instagram at Turbo_Caribbean or Buster Guyana for all the details. Don't just play. Up your game with Buster and Turbo Energy.
Former General Secretary and political stalwart of the People's National Congress Reform, Amna Ali, has tendered her resignation from that party, citing continuous disregard for women as the reason for her resignation. In that resignation to the PNC Reform leader Aubrey Norton, Ali also said Norton and his entire executive should hang their heads in shame and also resign from the party. Her resignation follows the resignation of longtime party member Vanessa Kissoon last Tuesday. In penning her resignation letter, Ms. Ali highlighted a recent curse out of party members Vanessa Kissoon, Sharma Solomon, and fellow party stalwart Cheryl Sampson at an event that took place in party headquarters, Congress Place of Fire. She said the shameful act was meted out to the three senior party members by persons in the party closely associated with the current leader, and it took place in the presence of the current General Secretary of the party. Ali said the disgraceful conduct of women and men closely associated with Norton, among whom was also a sitting member of parliament, brought shame and disgrace to the party. Notably, she said, the lewd behavior was taking place without rebuke amidst an organized forum for the National Congress of Women. She said the incident was not missed by many senior women functionaries who publicly and privately expressed disgust at the level to which the party has sunk under Norton's leadership. Amna Ali also said while it hurts, she cannot continue to support the PNC under the current leadership of Aubrey Norton and his entire executive, who she lamented should all resign from the party. She accused the group of supporters who surround the current leader of operating as though they own the party. And she also called on all right-thinking women of the PNC Reform to stand up against what she described as the new tyrant in the PNC, adding that leadership must be given by leaders and not by rascals, bullies, embezzlers, and indisciplined persons. With that $2 billion gas energy project now scheduled to be completed next year having faced multiple delays, the opposition said it is now clear that the project, which was conceptualized by the APNU-AFC government, is being badly mismanaged by the current administration. Economic advisor to the leader of the opposition, Nelson Lowe, at a recent press conference said Guyanese could be saddled with a high cost of electricity for another year, due to the delays being experienced in the execution of the flagship government project.
The only way now for the PPP to deliver on its promise to halve the electricity costs this year is to approach the National Assembly to fund a direct subsidy. Guyanese should therefore expect further frantic plundering of the Natural Resource Fund and the rushed passage of a large supplementary budget of tens of billions of dollars.
Lowe also said Vice President Barry Jagdeo's recent indication that the government at present is unclear of the financial implications of the latest delay is another representation of the government's incompetence, according to him.
He noted that the government is still assessing the cost of the delay, including related management costs, but gave no estimate of the cost of the previous delays. These costs must all be accounted for and made public. The project is already 2 to 3 times its initial costs and will significantly impact the PNC-RUPNU government's first budget in 2026.
The economic advisor to the opposition leader said even as the government struggles to complete the flagship project, it is moving towards a second gas energy project at the same Wells location, which has proven to be problematic.
While this is intended to be privately funded, the same concerns remain. The cost of soil remediation needs to be calculated and factored in to any agreement with a private power plant investor to avoid potential disputes.
Lowe said it is therefore important to conduct a thorough due diligence of all shortlisted bidders. He said all beneficial owners must be clearly identified and proven experience in the construction and operation of such power plants must be a requirement to avert any disaster. Traffic Chief Assistant Commissioner of Police Mahendra Singh, along with several traffic officers, today urged caution on the roads due to the traffic buildup, especially along the east coast of the Marara and in Georgetown. In a live interview today with the Police Force's radio talk show, the Traffic Chief noted that the increased number of vehicles being imported into the country, as well as construction on the East Bank, East Coast, and parts of Georgetown, are the main reasons for the traffic buildup. He urged drivers to be extra considerate.
There's a demand for us to not only behave in a manner that is befitting, but to act more in that manner which is like a professional driver would, like a courteous road user would. And for careful consideration to always be the practice that there will be pedestrians on that very thoroughfare and our roadway, there will be pedal cyclists and other categories of road users, either two-wheel or four-wheel. So take time to consider what is prevailing. Take time to proceed with caution, and you yourself will have a better experience using the road. It will mitigate fully against anything that can or there's a likelihood will occur if you were to do so.
And the traffic chief also pleaded with drivers to cooperate with ranks on the roadways and observe diversion signs. He said with the traffic buildup, drivers are also creating a third lane to avoid waiting in traffic lines, which he says is making the issue even worse. He said his department has noted the complaints of persons on the road and is working with all stakeholders to see how best as possible the situation could be resolved.
Business is not as usual anymore. Some persons would still want to go about saying that they're not seeing enough of us. We want you to understand what we have is what we deploy. We further want to say that based on an elevation in status, rank, or whatever you wish to refer it to, it means that we are now in greater debt to the public to provide an even greater service to the public.
Meanwhile, Traffic Officer for Police Division 4A Superintendent Clark explained that while it is expected that the traffic situation will be tense because of the new vehicles being placed on the roads daily, road users tend to ignore alternatives being created to better the situation. He warned that there would be consequences for persons who do not comply.
We will have ranks out to look for those persons who wish not to comply with the rules governing the road, and they will be prosecuted. I will have motorcyclists patrolling along the both carriageways just to ensure that we have a free flow and also safety, which is paramount.
And the traffic officers are tonight calling for increased partnerships with the general public for the safe use of the roadways to also further reduce accidents on Guyana's roadways.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guy Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, Venezuela's Attorney General said on Monday his office has requested that 110 people arrested during protests over a contested July election have their detention measures revised, bringing the total number of protesters freed over the last few months to 2,006. The Attorney General's office has repeatedly freed protesters arrested during demonstrations against the government, which says President Nicolas Maduro won a third term in office, despite vote tallies published by the opposition, which show its candidate notched a resounding win. China's custom authorities suspended beef imports from 7 companies in Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, and Mongolia on Monday amid record imports last year that led to an oversupply and heavy losses at farms. In a notice on its website, the Customs Department said it has suspended the import declaration from 2 Argentine exporters and 3 Brazilian companies. Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay are among China's largest beef suppliers. China's Commerce Ministry launched an investigation into the surging beef imports late last year, as the world's largest meat importer and consumer grappled with an oversupplied market that hammered domestic beef prices to multi-year lows. In 2024, China imported a record 2.87 million metric tons of beef, customs data showed. And finally tonight, international news. A car drove into a crowd in the western German city of Mannheim on Monday, killing at least 2 people and seriously injuring several others, local media reported, overshadowing the carnival celebrations in the region where police had been on alert for attacks. Reuters in a report said police detained the car's driver and later said he had acted alone with no broader threat seen for the public. The suspect is a 40-year-old German man. People were seen lying on the ground at the scene, and at least 2 were being resuscitated, a witness told Reuters. It was unclear whether the driver acted deliberately or if there was any connection to Germany's carnival celebrations, which culminated on Rose Monday with a number of parades, although not in Mannheim, which held its main event on Sunday. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a blessed night.